Have you ever said, "I'm only joking," after you said something mean, but you knew you weren't? It's time for Wednesday Wisdom from Proverbs. Hey everybody, well, I gotta tell you, guilty as charged. I gotta tell you, this one kind of struck me in the heart because I do a lot of joking around and a lot of sarcasm, and I realized through this verse that I have to be very careful when I do that. So Proverbs 26:18 and 19 says this: like a madman who throws firebrands, arrows, and death is the man who deceives his neighbor and says, "I am only joking." So first, there's a couple things here. Okay, first, it's very extreme, and I get that. When it says firebrands and arrows and even death. But we're talking about dishonesty here, and we're talking about not being caring and gentle. And those things are directly against the gospel. And so when you do those things, and that is your intent, that's a big problem. And it can feel like death to somebody. Okay? So we need to understand that. So I think two things at play. Okay, number one, what is your intent? All right, is your intent, truthfully, are you being honest when you're joking around and you're telling somebody something that you think is funny about them or about somebody they love or about somebody they care about, and you're just joking around? Is your intent to be joking, or are you trying to get a message across? If that's the case, if you're trying to just get a message across, then just be honest and have a serious conversation about that at another time. Don't use a joking atmosphere to passively aggressively indicate something that might hurt them when you say it. But you're just trying to get it across in that time because you're uncomfortable having a real, accountable conversation about something difficult. That's the cowardly way out. The second part of it is this: how is it received? Because even if you do have lighthearted intent and you don't even really mean what you're saying, you're just joking around and you thought it would be funny, if it's not received in that manner, then it's not a joke and it's not funny. And to them, it feels like firebrands and arrows and death. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel nice. Okay, so that intent that you have goes out the window when it's not received with that intent by the other person. So when we're using joking and sarcasm, myself included, and this is a real big conviction for me right now, we have to be very, very careful that it's received as a joke, that it's felt as a joke. And if you feel they aren't able to communicate honestly how they actually feel, then maybe we should back off on that sarcasm, that joke, because if they're holding in what they really feel about your joke, and you know they tend to hold stuff in, whatever they don't say, they're going to store it up. Okay, if you don't say it, you store it. And that builds up with anger and angst, and really it depletes their self-confidence and might even lead to things like anxiety and depression, especially in today's age. So we have to be very careful when we're joking and being sarcastic, that we understand that the relationship we have with that person is far enough along where it can be received that way. And sometimes they may still have a day where it's not received that way, and we have to read that. All things aside, it's good to joke with friends. It's good to have fun. It's great to laugh. But when the laughing is only occurring on one side, or when your intent is to spread a message that they need to know in a serious manner, and you're using a joke to do it, maybe that's not what you should be doing. Let's think about that before we start to tell jokes and try to be really funny. And believe me, that is something I really have to work on. So hey, I'm glad you watched this today. Please subscribe and please hit that bell so that you can get notifications when we post a video about the Word of God and we can share that with everyone. Have a blessed day.